Alert! Top senator makes stunning collusion confession. The investigation into President Trump and Russia has been ongoing since he won the election last November. As time goes on, the story is getting increasingly nonsensical, and even members of the Senate Investigation Committee (SIC) are left scratching their heads. We have reached an interesting point in our timeline when even CNN is admitting that Russiagate might not be all it was cracked up to be. SIC Chairman Richard Burr, R. North Carolina, admitted that they hit a wall regarding speaking with Christopher Steele, the original Trump-Russia dossier author, according to CNN. It would appear that after all the talk of President Trump colluding with Russia, no one has a shred of real evidence to present. It is logical to say that in any case where an accusation is made, there needs to be evidence to support the claim. This rule, it appears, applies to everything but the Russia collusion story. You wouldn't say, "We are investigating you for murder. We don't have any proof that you killed anyone, but we just want to check and make sure." The accused would be outraged. This is precisely what the left is doing with President Trump, except they are using Russia collusion instead of the charge of murder, even though collusion, by definition, isn't an actual crime, let alone an illegal act that calls for an investigation. Burr admitted during a conference, the committee continues to look into all evidence to see if there was any hint of collusion. If the president were colluding with Russia, you would think that the best investigation unit on the planet would be able to find something, anything. Instead, almost a year later, they are still floundering even as every avenue appears exhausted. Interestingly, they are still doing interviews and looking at documents, and this is where it becomes questionable. The main document they are using to base everything else off of is a 35-page dossier composed by Steele. They can't even get Steele to reveal any information about his sources or who paid him. Again, this is like someone finding a piece of paper on the ground that says you murder people. Instead of finding who wrote it, why they wrote it, who paid them to write it, and the evidence supporting their claim, they chose to ignore all of that and proceed with the case. After all the talk of President Trump colluding with Russia, no one has a shred of real evidence to present. Is it time to close these investigations? At one point in his press conference, Burr puts it all on the line. We then start to get a picture of the real purpose of this Russia talk. We have not come to any determination on collusion or Russia's preferences, Burr starts. Then, he drops the bombshell. It seems that the overall theme of the Russian involvement in the U.S. elections was to create chaos at every level. And I would tell you the fact that we're sitting here 9 months later investigating it, they have been pretty darn successful. It is to the point now where the people who are supposed to be investigating the Russia-Trump collusion theory are turning up nothing. Are CNN and other liberal media outlets going to continue to keep pushing this false narrative? If the answer is yes, they may want to try getting some actual evidence to sustain their claim, which isn't looking promising for them.